Hi Sparkly Beings, welcome back. Today we have a 30-minute session that's devoted to helping to strengthen your knees and also help them with mobility and flexibility. I myself, as somebody who was injured over a year ago and now have rods in my legs, these have been really helpful stretches and exercises to help me regain my knee mobility. And so just know that no matter where you're at, you eventually get to a better place. That being said, make sure that you bring anything that you need, like bolsters, straps, yoga blocks, just to make sure that you have what you need to get into your version of certain postures. And just be kind to yourself. Don't feel like you have to push yourself all the way to the full end of the posture. If you're somewhere in between, then that's totally okay, as long as you're trying and you're mindful and intentional in your movements. So all that being said, whenever you're ready, join me on your mat. Begin with me at the top of your mat. Get nice and grounded in your feet, nice and grounded in all four corners. Press all 10 toes into the mat. Roll your shoulders down and back. Engage everything here. Mountain pose, so we're engaging our calves, our shins, our quads, our hamstrings, glutes, abs, biceps, triceps, chest. Everything here is active. And release. Shake it out. Go ahead and face the front of your mat. Feet about hip width distance apart if that feels good for you. Roll your shoulders down and back. Inhale both arms out and up to gaze up. Get nice and long through your spine. Exhale, press the air away. Chin to chest. Inhale, reach both arms out and up, nice and long. Exhale, press the air away, chin to chest one more time. And on our next inhale, get ready because we're going to sit back into chair. So inhale, both arms out and up. And exhale, sit back into your chair. So here you can bring your feet to touch. That might be more helpful in the stability of this posture. You want to think about drawing your hips to your ribs and your ribs to your hips, but sitting down and back away. If you can, your knees are coming away from the tops of your toes, so you can see your toes here. Feel free to extend your arms above to make it harder, or bring your hands to heart center to make it a little bit easier. Holding this, and gently rise. Inhale, both arms out and up to gaze up. Exhale, flat back swan dive, palms towards the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, palms to shins. Exhale, press the palms to your mat and step back for your first plank here. Think about engaging your core here, so hips to ribs, ribs to hips. And just holding it here, rooting through grounding, feeling your kneecaps activated here. And lower for your version of chaturanga, so knees or not. Chest towards the ground on your exhale. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra, drawing your tailbone down towards the ground, creating length in your spine and in your neck. Tuck your toes, bend your knees, and raise your hips up and back for our first down dog. Option to walk it out here, so bend into one knee and lift that heel, and bend into the other and lift that heel. If your heels don't touch, that's perfectly fine. Over time they may. And just breathe into the space. Inhale, raise your right leg high up and back, nice and straight through that knee. Exhale, bend your knee. Bring your foot through for a low lunge. Inhale here to lengthen through your spine. And on your exhale, press it up into high crescent. Make sure that you're slightly bent in that back knee and draw your tailbone down towards the ground to create length in your hip flexor. Stay nice and bent in your front knee. Getting nice and strong here. So this is really good for strengthening your knees. Both knees. You can have your arms up and over your head or hold here. Exhale, rotate it out into your warrior two. Nice and grounded into that back foot. The back of your mat is parallel to the edge of your left foot. Stay nice and bent in the front knee. Do your best to not go over your ankle. Shoulders down and back, hips to ribs, ribs to hips as you clench your abs. And feel the length you're creating in your spine. Inhale to gently lean forward on your exhale, palm towards the sky, and reverse that warrior. So wherever you're at here, just honor that space. Make sure you stay nice and straight in your back leg and nice and bent in that front knee. And if you can, try to straighten through that elbow on both arms. Maybe gaze up if that feels good on your neck. Holding it here, breathing into that space. Inhale to rise. Extend long through your right leg, lengthen through your spine. Inhale here, and on your exhale, hinge at your right hip to come down into your version of triangle, so wherever that is for you. Option for yoga blocks or not. If you can come all the way down here, great. And if not, also great. Just honor where you're at. Nice and long through those arms, straight through those elbows. Shoulder blades are actually coming back towards one another, creating length in your spine here. Inhale to rise. Exhale to bend into your front knee and windmill your hands down to frame that foot. Release your back heel from the mat as we step back for our plank into our vinyasa. Inhale here. Exhale, lower down, chaturanga, knees or not. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, tuck your toes, bend your knees, and lift your hips up and back for downward facing dog. Breathing it out here. Once again, option to bend into your knees or not. Just honor where you're at. This stretch really does stretch the back of your knees and your hamstrings and your ankles and even the base of your feet. So it's good to just honor where you're at and breathe into those spaces and kind of focus on them to help them release any tension. Inhale, left leg up and back, nice and straight through that knee. Exhale, bend your knee, bring your foot between both hands for your low lunge. Get nice and grounded into your left foot. Inhale to lengthen through your spine. On your exhale, rise for your high crescent. So once again, think about your tailbone going down towards the ground to create length in your hip flexor. Arms up or not, whatever is comfortable for you. I mean, we don't want to be too comfortable in yoga, but just honor where you're at. If it's too much of a struggle, it's not worth it. A little bit of a struggle is okay. Too much is just too much. All right, inhale here to lengthen. On your exhale, rotate out into your warrior two. Tailbone down, nice and long through your spine. See how my shoulder blades are coming back towards one another. And now that you see that, I will turn to face you. All right, so warrior two on the left. Rooted through that right foot, rooted into that left heel. Your knee is going towards the back. Nice and long through your spine. Hips to ribs, ribs to hips. Inhale here. Guide forward, exhale, palm towards the sky. Come back into your reverse warrior. So do your best to keep that elbow straight here. Fingers are energetic towards the sky. Gaze up if that feels okay for your neck. Stay bent in your front knee. Create length in your spine. Inhale to rise. Exhale, get straight through your left leg. Inhale here to lengthen. And exhale, hinge at that left hip to find your version of triangle, whether that's you using any part of your leg or a yoga block to raise the ground to you. Create length in your spine. Shoulder blades are down and back towards one another, nice and long through your arms. Gaze up if that feels good. And Inhale to rise, bend through your front knee. Warrior two. Exhale, windmill your hands down to frame your foot. Lift your back heel from the mat and step back for your plank. Your version of chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra, tailbone down towards the ground. Exhale, tuck your toes, bend your knees, and raise your hips up and back for downward facing dog. So next we have a nice little knee strengthening exercise we're going to be going into. Get nice and rooted into your toes and into your hands. Just breathe into the space. Inhale, lift your right leg up and back, flex through that knee. Exhale, bend your knee as you guide your foot between your hands. Inhale here to lengthen through your spine. Exhale, hands to heart center in prayer. We're going to step into our warrior three. So get ready, brace yourself, all the weight in that front foot. Lean forward and gently guide your back foot up, wherever that is for you. So if you can, stay nice and straight in the back leg and you want your hips parallel to the ground. We're going to go through some knee bends on the right. So 1, raise, 2, raise, 3, 4, and 5. Raise and step it back to your high crescent. Inhale here to lengthen. Exhale, arms down towards the mat for your low lunge. Step it back for your chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, tuck your toes, bend your knees. Raise your hips up and back for down dog. So we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Now that you know you're mentally more prepared for it, just root through your feet and your hands here. Catch your breath, catch your focus. Inhale, raise your left leg up and back. Nice and flex through that knee if you can. And exhale, step it through, low lunge. Inhale here to lengthen through your spine, and exhale, come up into your high crescent. Hands to heart center in prayer. Get ready to go into your warrior three on the left. Nice and rooted in the left heel. Gently raise your right foot off the ground. And do your best to stay straight through that back knee. Do your best to also rotate your hips towards the ground so they're parallel with the ground. And we're going into those knee bends. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And step it back to your high crescent, both arms out and up. Exhale, both arms down to the mat. Step it back for your plank. Hold it here. And gently lower your knees down to the mat. Walk your hands towards your body. Let your tops of your feet come to the ground and sit back on your heels. Option to have a bolster, pillow, block, or anything underneath you in case your glutes and your heels don't make contact. Roll your shoulders down and back. Nice and long through your spine. So this is a knee stretch, as well as it's stretching the tops of your feet and your shins. Place both hands on the mat. Stay nice and long through your spine. And we're going to shift our weight through our kneecaps. So shift your weight all the way to the right. Let your right hip come down towards the ground. And gently shift back to center, and same thing on the other side, left hip towards the ground. So this is getting that full range of motion, nice and gentle. It's like a dynamic stretch for your kneecaps. I did this a lot to rehabilitate my kneecaps, as I have metal in both of them now. So just know that one day you might be here if you're not, in terms of range of motion and flexibility. All right, place both hands on the mat again and tuck your toes. We're going to go in for a foot stretch. So this is a little aggressive. Feel free to back off Or if you need more, go ahead and slide your knees forward and get more of a stretch under your feet. So everything here is connected. I know that you know this, but just think about how the muscles in your feet pull on the muscles in your ankle, pull on the muscles in your calves, right to your kneecap. So everything is very important to remember that it's connected. And gently release your palms back to the mat to come to sit back on your feet as the counterbalancing pose for that. And just catch your breath here. Maybe rock back and forth if that feels nice. Guide your hands to the left. Let your hips come down to the left and extend your legs out ahead of you. Get nice and straight through those legs. Nice and long through your spine, shoulders down and back. Point and flex your toes. Feel the shift of the muscles going through that knee joint just to manage that particular motion. Now come into staff pose, so the heels of your hands to your hips, shoulders down and back. Press into the earth, point your toes. We're flexing into all of our muscles here. So everything here is active, much like mountain pose. And release. Shake out your knees, shake out your legs. Bend into your left knee and guide the base of your left foot onto the inside of your right thigh. Lengthen through your spine here. And on our exhale, we hinge from our hips. Our navel is pulled in and lowering down with as much of a flat back as you can. So once again, honor where you're at with this. It's not about trying to get to the bottom. It's just about hearing what your body is telling you and feeling where it's at. If you can come all the way down, option to do so. If not, that's totally fine. Just find your stretch for your body where it's at currently. So if you flex through this right foot as your knee, well, I was going to say as your head is on your knee, but it may not be. But if you flex through your right foot, then you can really feel more of a stretch behind this knee here. Meanwhile, you're getting a nice hip stretch on the other side and a little bit of a knee stretch as well. Inhale to lengthen through your spine, exhale to gently rise, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So if you need to help this leg out with both hands, shake it out. And we're going to bend into our right knee, guide our right foot onto the inside of our left thigh. Get nice and long in your torso here. So this is my funny leg. It's got a lot more metal in it than the other ones. So I make whatever adjustments I need to allow it to find space to come a little closer to the ground. So honor yourself where you're at and do whatever you need to there, as long as it's not dangerous. So inhale here to lengthen through your spine, and exhale, we're going to gently fold from our hips. Navel pulled in, heart going towards the ground. But very minimal rounding through the back, if you can. And just gently lower yourself down as you breathe. Nice, deep, big breaths. These breaths are relaxing your nervous system, telling your body it's okay. This stretch is not putting you in a state of vulnerability. And if you can, lower down. Well, just lower down wherever you can. Once again, flex through this left foot, and that's stretching the back of that left knee. And just breathe into that space. And gently rise. If you need to, help your right leg with both hands back out in front of you and shake out your knees here. We're going to come into our Baddha Konasana. I'm going to turn to face you. So that's butterfly pose. So your base of both feet touches one another. Get nice and long through your spine here. You can grab your ankles. Inhale to lengthen, and exhale. As you fold forward, you press your elbows into your knees to help open your hips here. So you are stretching your hips and the back side of your glutes, like the side of them, but you are still getting into your knees here. And depending on where you're at, you will have different tensions in your body that others will not. So every stretch, despite what it's meant to do, if you have any muscular imbalances or anything, those stretches will highlight those to you in your body. So do your best to be mindful about that. It's very informative when you let it be. So you can keep hinging from your hips here if that feels good. My right hip is obviously tighter than the left. And just breathe into that space and gently rise. Guide both hands to the outside of your knees. Knees together, extend your legs out ahead of you and shake it out. Come to face the length of your mat. You can grab your hands here and just clench your elbows around your knees. Get nice and long through your spine and activate your chest here, activate your shoulder blades. And then exhale, round through your spine. Let your chin come to your chest. And really, really, really think about this version of rounding your spine as if it's a cat position. So for cat-cow. And gently rise, lengthen through your spine. Extend palms out ahead of you. And gently lower yourself one vertebra at a time. Head's going to be the last thing to come down. Control and focus with intention. Extend your arms out ahead of you. Lengthen your legs away from you. Get nice and long in your body here. Full body stretch. Walk your heels back towards the glutes. Place both hands on the outside of your knees and gently circle your knees from left to right and reverse from right to left. Just a little lower back massage here. Then shift into happy baby. So extend your legs towards the sky. Grab the outer edges of your feet as you bend into both knees and let them come down towards your ribs. Here we'll just stay with bent knees just for a moment to really breathe into that space. An option to lengthen through one leg and the other if that feels good for you. So when you do that, if you flex into your feet, you'll feel more of a stretch on the backs of your knees as well. And bring your feet back together. Bring your knees into your chest. Bring your left foot down to the ground. Extend your right leg up. Extend your left leg all the way down. And find where is comfortable for you. If you're here and you're already feeling tension, that's totally okay. Also option, if you have a strap or not, go ahead, feel free to pause to go get yourself a strap or a towel or something. Come back and wrap that anywhere that's comfortable for you on your leg. And just breathe into the space and guide your leg towards your torso. Just very gently and mindfully. For me personally, I have been working on this for a long time, so I'm going to be in a slightly more extended version of this posture. But honor where you're at. And just breathe into that space. So you can also take your peace fingers if you have the mobility and grab your big toe. So this is like the reclining version of standing toe pose. So that's also an option for you. And gently release your right foot back down to the ground. Bring your left foot to meet it and arms out to the side. Just shift your hips and your knees, windshield wiper your knees from left to right and right to left to just kind of release that. We're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. Extend your right leg all the way down and start to lift your left leg up towards the sky. Once again, if you need that strap, find wherever it's comfortable for you to wrap it around your leg and mindfully pull your leg towards you. No fighting, just breathing, just relaxing into the stretch. Find wherever's comfortable for you. One side's always going to be a little bit different than the other as well. For me, for instance, this hamstring glute connection on this side has always been a little tighter than the other one. So I just kind of let it do whatever it's doing. Just breathe into the space and honor where it's at. Once again, option if you have the ability to grab your big toes with your peace fingers, feel free to do so. This is kind of an awkward posture for me because I have really long arms and short legs. So I feel like I want to bend my arm a little bit here. But ideally, I would just continue to pull it back with a straight arm if I were like a rubber band human. So, and gently let it go wherever you're at. Bring the base of that foot down to the mat. Bring the base of your right foot to meet it and shift your hips, shift your knees, windshield wiper your knees from right to left and left to right. And then let your knees fall to the left and gaze over your right shoulder. Option to adjust your legs a little bit here. If you want your hip to meet the mat a little bit more, you can do so. You'll get a little bit more of a spinal twist. And just breathe into that space. Breathing into any tension you may or may not have. And bring your knees back towards the sky and release towards the other side. Gaze over your left shoulder. Your knees are to the right. So the expression that I just said, breathe into the space that you may or may not have. Sometimes it just feels good to breathe into the space where you don't have any pain. It's kind of magical. Just appreciating that you have the ability to move your body and it just feels good. And then when you do have the pain, appreciate that you can move your body and your body is telling you something. All right, bring your knees back towards the sky, guide them back into your chest as you place your palms on the outside of your knees and shift your knees in little circles here to massage your lower back. Right to left and then left to right. Guide your feet back down to the mat. Extend your legs out ahead of you. Let them fall open towards the sides, inside of the feet towards the sky. Adjust yourself on your mat if you need to do so. Roll your shoulders down and back. Open through your heart, palms towards the sky, and breathe into your Savasana. Option to close your eyes and scan your body with your breath. Through the base of your feet to the crown of your head, and from the crown of your head to the base of your feet. Let your body just melt into the earth. Let go of any tension in your forehead, eyes, cheeks, and chin. Releasing any tension in your neck, shoulders, chest. Letting go of any tension in your arms, wrists, hands, and fingers. And then releasing any tension in your stomach, your lower back, your hips, and your glutes. Letting go of your legs, ankles, feet, and toes. And just let yourself get nice and melted into the ground. Cultivating this space of inner peace, basking in it as if you were in the sun at the beach, a gentle breeze. Begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes here to create motion back into your body. And let yourself shift towards the left. Place your left arm on your head as if it were a pillow, right palm to the mat. Just brace yourself in a positive and gentle way. As we know, we're going to shift up into a nice easy seat. Press into your right hand to to allow yourself to come up into that seat. Roll your shoulders down and back. Get nice and long with your spine. Make any adjustments you need to. Option to sit on a pillow, a block, a mat. Well, another mat. Palms towards the sky. Eyes closed. Scan your body with your breath. Feel the space you've created in your body from this practice. Feel the energy, vitality. Option to set an intention for how you want to leave your mat and go into the rest of your day. Maybe to be kinder to yourself, kinder to others. Maybe to find positivity even in the worst of situations. Whatever that is for you. Inhale, both arms out and up over your head. Press palms together, guide hands to heart center in prayer. Inhale here to lengthen through your spine as you exhale, hinge from your hips to lean forward and bow to yourself. Thank yourself for this opportunity to reconnect with your mind, body, and spirit. Namaste. I hope you really enjoyed that and got a lot out of it. I hope you feel more confident in your ability to move forward in your day and maybe perhaps more confident in the strength in your knees. And know that even if you are a little sore or something tomorrow, I would give it about 3 days for any soreness to go away. And just be consistent to show up for yourself. Feel free to incorporate this class at least like once a week if you're really wanting to increase the strength and range of motion in your knees. All that being said, if you did like this, go ahead and like and subscribe. And if you feel like anybody else would benefit, go ahead and share it. And until next time, continue to spread your light throughout your day, and namaste.